door window regulator change on a Ford Fiesta. This is a manually operated window. However, the electric one is very similar, other than you'll just have switches over here which is plugged into electrics. The first thing we need to do is remove the door card. Remove this cover with a screwdriver, and that reveals a screw. Screw out. Remove this rubber grip, just twist it off, and then remove this panel. Now detach the adjuster, squeeze the ends, push through, to remove the window handle. Now this is held on by a U-shaped clip, so it's a bit difficult to show you this, but stick a screwdriver behind, find the end of the clip, and then push it forward. So it's literally held on by this clip here, and that's what you're pushing, or you can get a hook and just pull it out. So just lift off the door handle now. Next, remove the door handle. To do this, remove the cover inside, and there'll be a screw behind it. Then remove the screw. Then disconnect the wiring to the tweeter. There is also a screw inside this grip here. There's another one just further down, so just remove the cap and remove the screw. So now we're ready to remove the panel. So this is held on by 5 securing clips. So you have one here, one in the corner, one in the middle of the bottom, and 2 over on here. Now you can remove them with the removing tool, a fork, or you could just use brute force. Then once they're all released, just lift it up. Next, remove the window. Now we're going to peel the lining from the door. You may need a knife to help you, but be very careful because it's quite delicate. These holes contain the 2 screws that hold the window in place. Next, temporarily reconnect the winder. If you've got electric windows, just reconnect the switches and wind the window all the way to the top. Now we can see the 2 screws inside here. So next, remove these. So you're going to need a fairly big screwdriver, and they're quite tight as well. Now you can get the screw with a magnetic screwdriver or maybe a pair of pliers. Don't worry if you drop it, there's a big hole at the bottom of the door which you can retrieve it from. While holding the glass, wind the window down. Remove the weather strip. This comes off. From the outside of the car, grab the glass and gently lift up. As you're doing this, gently tilt it towards you. So totally remove the lining. The window regulator is held on by 5 rivets. 2 around the winder, 1 at the bottom here, and 2 up top here. I've already removed this one. Use protective goggles. You want to get a drill bit that's slightly smaller than the inside of the rivet itself. You don't want to get a big one in which you damage the surface around the rivet. The wiring mechanism that lifts the window up and down is actually held on by a clip here that needs to be removed. So all the rivets are undone now, so just remove it, slide it through. go. So let's have a look at the mechanism itself. So there's 2 rivets here, 1 here, and then 2 on these. So basically all this thing does is wind up and down, as you can see. And for interest's sake, this is the other side. So this is the wire that pulls the mechanism up and down. And this is where it's clipped on the top of the door. Take your new mechanism and put it in. Slide that across. There you go. And now we need to rivet in. Now there isn't any easy place to clamp it or anything, so basically you're going to have to use one hand to hold it and the other hand to rivet. Now it's going to be a bit tricky, you might have to use a bit of your body. So the first one's obviously going to be the most difficult. So line up your first hole and just press in with your body a bit. There you go. Second one. For the bottom one, I've just wedged a piece of wood behind it. Nice and snug. And that's the last of the 5 done. So at this point it may be advisable just to test it to see if it does work. So this is the moment of truth. It works just fine. Now we can start putting on the window and the door card. Attaching the window to the regulator and putting the door card back on is just the reverse of what you've just seen. Now put the window in and push it to the top. Just make sure it follows the rubber runners on either side, and then bring the mechanism to the top and then screw in the bolts. Let's have a quick test. This is working just fine. Now just put the trim card on and you're done.